Hello there, this is Alex, welcome to Boomstick Gaming and my hopefully helpful tips and tricks for the 2020 remake of
Resident Evil 3.
What I have in store for you in this, I would consider to be somewhat advanced mechanics and beginner level systems that I felt could be easily missed, a few of them especially so for people who didn't play last year's RE2. To try and keep everyone invested, I'll be bouncing back and forth between both those two skill levels as we go along, so there should be something for everyone all the way up to the very end. I'll be showcasing some things like perfecting the evade window timing, effectively staggering Nemesis, easy combining, some alternatives to the built-in dodge if you don't happen to like it, logging things on your map to limit backtracking, and a few other gameplay tricks that are just pretty fun to play around with. Now, Raccoon City needs some saving, and I'm sure we're all tired of dealing with the T-Virus by now, so let's kick, or I should say punch this all off with my absolute favorite move in the entire game. Carlos has a drastically different dodge move compared to Jill, and by drastically different, I mean not a dodge at all. Carlos performs a shoulder charge instead that initially doesn't seem all that useful, but when you use it at just the right timing, when an enemy is in an attack or their lunge animation, you can actually do this awesome counterpunch. This is a really great tool for clearing the path just to get zombies out of your way, and I found it to be even more reliable and easier to pull off than Jill's dodge, which we will be getting back to in just a few moments. Also, after performing the Carlos punch, if you immediately squeeze the aim button, you get a free slow-mo moment to get in some easy damage as well. This is not all that useful for the standard zombies since you'll waste a lot of ammo, but for the larger creatures you come up against, this is an absolute game changer. This mechanic makes Carlos feel like a drastically more offensive character compared to Jill, since now every oncoming attack is no longer really a threat, but instead an opportunity. Nemesis has two different durations in which you can stagger him. The weaker of the two lasts only a little over 10 seconds, but the stronger stagger will take him out of commission for a little over 30 seconds, and you'll know when you pull this off from this lovely ASMR sound he'll make while he's regenerating. To pull off the shorter stagger, this is done by simply inflicting enough damage on him with guns or knives, and you can damage him anywhere really, but you'll be the most effective aiming at that beautiful face of his or that electrical device on his chest. Depending on where you're hitting him, it should take close to 10 pistol shots or about 3 to 4 shotgun blasts to put him into stagger. The longest way to put him out of commission is to save those grenades of yours as get out of jail free cards when you really need to buy yourself some time with the Nemesis on your butt. One blast from these will instantly put him into the longer stagger, and since grenades have an awkwardly large blast radius in this, you just have to nick his toes with the explosion to put him down. This longer stagger can also be done with normal damage from guns as well, by simply staggering him 3 times in fairly quick succession. This takes a decent amount of bullets to do this way, so I wouldn't really recommend it, but it's really up to you. Jill's dodge has a very tight window in which you can perform a perfect evade, which can be incredibly useful for just general avoidance, but can also allow for some easy damage on your target with a similar slow-mo mechanic just like Carlos's punch. Now, there are 2 primary things to take into consideration for consistently pulling off the perfect evade. First, the timing, which is not at the start of the enemy's attack animations like you might try at first, but instead at pretty much the last few milliseconds right before the hit would connect, no sooner, no later. The second main thing to keep in mind is that you cannot dodge physically into the path of the enemy's attack hitbox. This means that dodging straight into zombies' grapples or backwards into the path of their lunge will still not count as perfect timing and will likely get you hit. The direction for general zombies that I found to be the most consistent for dodging their attacks is diagonally forward to the left or right of them. You really need to make sure you don't get the directly forward dodge, and if you're using a controller, aim for those 45-degree angle points on the analog stick to get the best results. For Nemesis dodging, I actually found the opposite to be true, and most all of his attacks can be easily evaded with a backwards or sideways dodge. Since his frame is so large, forward dodging doesn't really work too well on him, since you will likely just move right into his attacks. Now, after explaining all that, say you just don't really like the built-in dodge mechanic or simply can't get the timing window down, well, you're in luck because the zombie dodge I used in my last year's video on Resident Evil 2 also fully applies here. To do this, wait until the very start of a zombie's lunge animation opposite of the perfect evade and immediately press directly backwards and sprint. Both this and the perfect evade both have their uses, and it's really left up to you to decide which is the best one to use during the situation. If you happen to be like me and are terrible at remembering simple instructions, there is actually a built-in element when combining items to help the forgetful. If you're trying to make a specific ammo type, for example, don't go digging through your notes, simply move the item onto another or use the combine command, and before you confirm, the game will actually tell you which ammo type that combo will yield. This is a pretty simple one for sure, but for those who want to clog up their brain with as little as possible, quite useful. This next one was actually a little more useful in Resident Evil 2, but still has some practical use here in 3. If you want to play a little more tactically and get the jump on those things that made a lifelong career out of jump scaring you can actually peek open doors and get the drop on them SWAT team style. You can simply press on through a door with your weapon drawn, but that might put you further in than you want, so instead just get really close to the door to where you can see the use button, pop it open, line up that shot, and get back out. This isn't really one that will make or break a fight, but I play games to mostly have fun, and this is just simply fun to do, so I'm passing it along. Another holdover thing from Resident Evil 2 is the importance of checking zombies with your knife. If you see any suspicious zombie on the ground, one swipe of your knife will either activate it if it's still alive, or if it does nothing, it's truly dead. If the zombie has already been damaged and then was downed but still alive, if you just swipe away on them before they get up, sometimes you can outright finish them off without using up any bullets. Now you can also take the exact opposite of all that advice as well and just store your knife in your storage to free up an extra inventory slot, entirely up to you. The map is a really powerful tool in Resident Evil 3, just like it was in 2. Rooms that are colored blue means you have 100% found everything they had to offer, and red rooms indicate that you missed something to pick up. Since things will be chasing you down quite often, it's pretty useful to just pop in a room, pick some stuff up, check the map, and get out once complete, instead of wasting time looking around with your eyeballs. Another important use of your map is to log important locations on it to help mitigate backtracking. Although you might see a locked door or something you know you can't quite use yet, still always go up to it and interact with it because that will then add it to your map. This will show you what needs to be used to open specific doors, lockers, or chests, and will likely save you more time in the long run by simply taking that second and interacting with more things. Those are all the tips and tricks I had for you for my playthrough of Resident Evil 3, and make sure to let me know down in the comments what you or the rest of the internet has figured out, and I'll pin it to the top so we can further help everyone out. I tried to limit this to not telling you exactly where to go or what to do in the game, since I don't really like that style of guide myself, and also let me know if you found what I had for you today to be useful at all. Now, if you happen to enjoy the style of informative gaming content I do here at Boomstick Gaming, consider subscribing for more, ringing that little bell icon if you already are, and you can also find me on Twitter at BoomstickAlex. Lastly, a big mention to the top supporting YouTube members and patrons you're seeing on screen, who really help to keep this individually owned and operated channel going. As always, this has been Alex from Boomstick Gaming. Good luck out there, and thanks for watching.